days. Oh my goodness. So you want oh Lord, it is. It's spring.
Yeah.
It's pollen time.
So greetings and salutations, everybody. Benchmark season 3, more explosions.
Boom. You happy?
I'm hoping this may be a series that actually has more explosions in it. I don't know. I remember that was one of the greatest moments from the freaking Fallout games. If they do that in a series, if you could tell me that right now, it's a dead watch right now. It's a.
I don't want to, because if I say something, it might spoil the story.
You're right. You're right. So my brothers are going to talk to me today about watching the series Fallout. So take it away, brothers.
You want first, Rev, or me?
After you, sir.
Fancy pantsers. All right. It's safe to say when you have a conversion from one IP to another, there is something that gets lost in translation. And the problem is when you have an IP that has years of lore and experience, and to some degree, because it's coming from a video game, universalization and like a direct persona attachment, it's hard to go ahead and compete with that. Like Mario is beloved because he was in our childhoods, whether you knew him or not. And then since he was in every dance, he's the original Master P, right?
I get that.
So with Fallout, you feel familiar. Like I was looking for Easter eggs, like I said in X-Men '97. The Easter eggs led to more excitement because there were enough of them there, and they meant just enough to wonder how it's going to be incorporated as a concept into the entire universe.
Correct.
So that's one of the things I liked about it. It stayed true to the lore, and anything that kind of deviated or was questionable about, it makes sense that in the world of, Back to the Pony Express, we don't get messages across. We're going to have facts and data that's skewed. So I'm fine with it. It was an hour episode, so wasn't really a fan of that. But at the same time, you got a lot more lore to go ahead and put in. So, let's not be disingenuous. The closest analog is X-Men '97. And I'm saying this, having watched all of Fallout and up to episode, was it 7 of X-Men '97 of season 1?
Mm-hmm.
X-Men is an 8.5. Fallout is a 8.75, leaning toward a 9. That's how good it is. As far as I definitely plan to rewatch this. Rev?
Ooh, okay. We got to get this, get everything clear for this one because, folks, Fallout is beast. I've only seen half of it. I've gotten to about episode 4 or 5, and I am thoroughly impressed with the set direction, the acting, the writing. Everything takes all the lore that we know about Fallout and builds upon it, and explains it in a way to people who would be new to Fallout.
Yeah.
That it doesn't make you bored of watching it, but if you already know the stuff. It does, like having someone explain Superman's origin story after being a nerd, it makes every new Superman movie like, all right, I know we gotta do the thing. But he grows up and I get it. Yep. Then the thing, same thing with Spider-Man every so many couple of years when they rebooted. Yep, we gotta watch Uncle Ben die again. Yep, we're doing that. All right, sure. That's the thing. But it doesn't do it to where you're like, okay, yeah, we gotta watch this boring aspect of the world that we all know about. If you're a fan of Fallout, be reiterated to people who are noobs. No, they slide all that stuff right past you.
I mean, it's
so
to dovetail off what you're
And
saying,
they
Rev.
feed it to you in such a believable way through the character perspective that you're willing to go ahead and go, yeah, they wouldn't know about that because they've never experienced that before. So, kudos to you, Amazon Prime, for having one of the most watched television shows in a while. I mean, Fallout dropped and became the most watched show on Amazon Prime. Period.
Now,
The bar is
Remember,
pretty low, but
Amazon
yeah.
Amazon Prime carries The Boys,
Oh yeah. Oh
Invincible,
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, and Fallout dropped and it was like, nah, I'm number one.
now the problem is this.
So for no other reason than that, my brother should watch it.
Yeah, I have seen The Boys. The Boys were pretty good. I am curious. My brother Collins will tell me this first to make sure that it doesn't spoil anything from me. Is this taking place in like the Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas? Which around area am I dealing with here? Because I remember it does make a little bit of a difference because as far as the stories in which I liked, I didn't really deal that well with the Fallout New Vegas kind of world aspects, but I did like the Fallout 4 area of things a little bit more storyline wise. So I don't know. Does that spoil it for me if you were to tell me that?
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say I'm confused because in Fallout, at least in my estimation, the goal is for power and resources. Specifically, this resource will give you power. Can you get unlimited energy? Can you get clean water, clean air, all the ammo? You're saying where matters more than anything? Because Fallout 3 in New Vegas is on the West Coast. Fallout 4 is the East Coast. It didn't matter to me because it was still just fighting for fighting for resources, just they did a different locale. The story was the same, just couched differently.
It kind of felt like a difference.
I would like to make a small correction. Fallout 3 is East Coast.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
3
Yeah,
and 4
you're
are
right.
East Coast. New Vegas 1 and 2 are West Coast.
Yeah, I said that wrong. Thank you.
For me,
And where's Tactics?
Whereas what?
Tactics, Fallout Tactics.
I actually think Tactics was more towards
76?
Huh?
70 Fallout 76.
No.
76?
No, not 76. There's Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know where Tactics is.
I
I
think
know
Tactics
that
was,
76 is East Coast as well. And Fallout 5 is purported across the pond.
I mean, from what I remember hearing, either Tactics or 76 actually dealt more towards the central area of the country. So that was what from what I was hearing. You know, so I don't know how truthful that was or not, but that's from what I heard.
That's you.
Yeah, but with that being said,
No, look, read what it says.
yeah, the Fallout trilogy, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics. Yeah, I do see it.
Collins actually owns the game.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that is true that it does have. Yeah.
Appalachia is 76.
Appalachia. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's more towards the center of the country for 76. But like I said, it kind of made a difference, a little bit of a difference to me because I liked the dynamic more in Fallout 4 than I did like it in New Vegas.
Tactics is Midwest.
Okay.
It's like
Plains country.
yeah, the Plains area. So that was more towards the northern center. That's weird. Northern center, the eastern center, are those two offshoot games?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Like I would guess, like so, like if you look at the Americas, if you look at North America, then because Tactics is like the Midwest, like Wisconsin, Chicago area. Because apparently the plot of the game is that the Brotherhood of Steel is trying to claim Chicago or the territory around Chicago, so Illinois. Right?
Yeah.
And in 76, it was the Appalachian Mountain area, which is just east and south of the whole Appalachian Mountain range. So it's like east and then east, southeast, I'm sorry, west and then southwest of Fallout 3.
I mean,
That makes
at this
sense, right?
point, you know, we beating the horse. It matters that much for you?
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess in a way it just kind of felt like definitely for New Vegas it felt like it was the game changed less from a resource grab of different groups to one major group that was grabbing all the resources and one other in like another group that was kind of going against that group. That's what it kind of felt. So it had a different dynamic to me. It based off of what y'all are saying, that doesn't look like an important facet of the series, at least of the TV series. Am I correct?
You want to take this one first, Rev?
All right, so to say this spoiler free, the events of the show take place on the Western Coast.
Okay.
So a lot of the story beats connect back to Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and New Vegas,
Okay.
which makes sense if your initial show is going to reference the initial game, right? So, like, that's kind of how they put everything together. And remember, New Vegas was like, we want to make a Fallout game after Fallout 3, but we can't call it Fallout 4 because that's already in development. So we're going to have this other Fallout game. We'll give it a different title
And code name it, yeah.
and code name it. And they returned back to the West Coast to kind of give everyone an update of what's going on over here. So
I would say
that said, I enjoyed New Vegas. New Vegas is my favorite game
Oh.
of the Fallout series, hands down. It's New Vegas 3, 4, 1, 2, right? And New Vegas was just, there was so much. It felt like playing a Western. I'll be honest with you. The story was more engaged. I was hooked from the beginning from the story because you're just a dude. You're just a person. I'm sorry, not necessarily a dude, because Fallout allows you to decide what biological sex you want to be. So,
what if I'm just a dude playing a dude? You know?
well, sometimes I'm a dude playing a chick, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm about to say shit.
But
I remember the Fisto
as
robot,
the
and I wish I
courier
did
in
remember
Fallout
that.
4, I enjoyed the storyline and how they got you hooked into the overarching storyline of the game. It felt very kind of natural for this personal story of revenge turning into this bigger thing. Yeah.
I'm a fan of 1 and 3. That's my favorites. And in New Vegas to an extent, but not as much. I have to go with 3 because of how more specific the gameplay was. Because let's be real, Wasteland continued the Fallout series. Fallout 3 is when it became a first-person world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The thing that makes me laugh is, number one, your proximity will determine how you do or what you do. But one of the things I've always appreciated about Fallout is the further are you out away from the power, the less the factions have hold over you in the first place. Like, you saw NCR Ranger stuff, you know what I mean? I didn't see anything for the Legion at all. But you saw the Brotherhood of Steel, and well, the spoiler is the Enclave should be coming, and you hear a quick mention of them for a second. So it's there, so it's prescient as a background meta, but because this is an individual tale, it don't really influence you. Like, case in point, what's more important, your alderman election or your senator election? Probably your alderman. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things Fallout does, is that you have the large meta of resources, but then it's the individual metas and the group metas or the tribal meta, whatever you want to call it, that help determine you. And I mean, we do that in normal life, but here, because morality blurs so much, it's harder to say what is or isn't right, considering survival is this is definitely not a zero-sum game. There's going to be a winner, and you have to figure out which side you're on. Fair, Rev?
Yeah, this is not one of those things where you could win. This Fallout universe is very unforgiving.
And you see
and
that
the world was put in a position by the powers that be that were really playing with stuff they really had no idea. They were doing things. It was like the bombs dropped in like, I think in the lore, the bombs dropped on like a Tuesday afternoon. It's literally just a Tuesday, and then the world's over.
I mean, the other thing too is, one of the things that everybody's done that's really good is everybody's backfilled in the lore, but they've never front loaded the lore. So what I mean by that is, they made the world open enough that there is a finite amount of vaults. There's possible they could finagle the writing, so it is very possible they will make this canonical, because you have so many vaults that have a different story of what they can do. So it's very likely they'll go ahead and they can adapt it the other way around, and you'll have an idea of some of what happens. You know what I mean? Might be a cutscene as the actual, like, why reshoot footage. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or you could go ahead and say, hey, adapt it from the Fallout game, so that way you don't have to repay everybody out, because that's probably what's going to happen, and then just go through this, like, oh, which vault did this, which vault did this. And yeah, it's good that how much one thing that is very great about Fallout is it has its own culture. Like, you feel the culture for the Assassin's Guild and Assassin's Creed. They are willing to justify the means, but there is always a worthwhile end. You know what I mean? So it's a very defined reward. In Fallout, never. Never. And that culture is communicated immediately, efficiently, and believably. Because going to it, if everyone who is against the idea of the Wild Wild West because they were nothing but hooligans, well, what do you have when the inmates run the asylum? And I think that is shown, accepted, and moved on.
I would also like to put out there, like you said, that they don't front load the lore. Most of the Fallout games happen linearly after each other, time-wise. Mm-hmm. So we are progressing forward in time as each game drops. And with Fallout 5, I believe, being the first one to take place off of American soil, potentially. This was from what I heard last time I checked. We can finally find out that Vault-Tec was just a large American company or if it offered services to Western aligned countries. And then that could
worse, or was
increase
it everybody or
the number
anybody?
of votes exponentially.
Yeah. I'd even argue logarithmically, depending. But neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The point being is, okay, so how about this? What's your favorite Fallout, Brother Wolf?
4.
4. What character stands out to you the most?
Do I have 4 is the right one? I'm thinking of the one that you go through the setup with the birthday, and you go through the setup where they advance. First, they do the short, like you see him as a baby, then you see him at like 7, and then you see him at like 12.
That's 4, right?
Yeah, I think that is 4. That's what I'm making sure that I got the right one.
No, that's 3.
That's 3. And then they
start
also
off as a
have the
baby, you
gang.
get born.
They also have the gang in there.
That's unfair to say they have a gang in a Fallout game.
No,
Yeah,
the Vault gang,
There's range in all of them.
and eventually they wind up like the you find out that the gang was established by the bad people to clear the. I don't want to like. I'm caught in between saying things to spoil the game while saying it, but also
you spoil
I'm
the
caught-
game at this point. If you're not grounded to figure it out,
I mean, you find out that the gang was working like the reason why they had that particular job as being gang members was because they were assigned that job by the Vault supervisor and everything like that. And then eventually, you wind up having to break out of the Vault and basically
That's 3.
that's 3.
That's 3.
Yeah, you wind up having to break
That's
out
it.
the Vault and get out
That's 3.
in order
You're
to get
talking about the tunnel snakes and stuff like
Tunnel
that.
snakes, yeah.
That's 3.
Yeah, that was the name of the game. So that was
That's 3.
so I
Fallout 4.
apologize.
All right, so each of the Fallout's main protagonists has a code name to signify who they are, since there can be anybody just about, you know what I mean? Like, there's no sex attached to them, there's no race attached to them.
so it's typically a
They
profession.
are, right. So in Fallout 1, what's the name of the character?
We'd have to look it up.
Because I know the 2 is the chosen one, 3 is the Vault Dweller,
Vault Dweller. Yeah, that sounds right.
3 is the Vault Dweller. New Vegas is Courier 6,
The Courier, yeah. Courier 6 with the Courier.
or the Courier. And Fallout 4 is Soul Survivor. So you're talking about the Vault Dweller from Fallout 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you like
that
the
was
That's
East,
their
that's
story.
the East Coast.
That's their intro story.
And see, the funny part is, both of those games were fought over this, and one were fought over the same thing: water, access to clean water. Fallout 3, you had that giant lake that Kaiser's Legion dammed off, and that was the Hoover's Dam assault. That was the entire focus on that. 3, what was the name of the river or the reservoir? I can't remember. But I mean, Taken, Qui-Gon Jinn. Plays your dad in Fallout 3.
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson, yeah.
Taking Qui-Gon Jinn.
I couldn't think of his name.
It's your dad.
I couldn't think of his name. But no, he plays your father in
Yeah.
Fallout 3.
Yeah.
So, it's
He's
still
the
over.
voice of the Fallout story.
Yeah, so, this still over water is just how it was done. But I guess, Rev Ross so eloquently stated, is mostly on the West Coast. Most of it has been. And like I said, the Wasteland series, which you saw me play part of as well, it's primarily West Coast because there's so much land to backfill in. You know what I mean? And if we don't have the appropriate mapping.
I'm sorry. Let me can I offer a correction?
Yeah.
Fallout 1 is the Vault Dweller. Fallout 3 is the Lone Wanderer.
Yeah, because you have dog meeting with you, and that's the dog wandering with you.
Yep.
So yeah, oops. But Good on us. Like I said, it was the whole point is you have an idea or a meta or a profession to do it. But as it goes, you're just fighting over the resource, and it amounts to the same. So that's why I was like, it didn't make sense that it mattered that much to you, unless you prefer a city versus a rural setting. And it does kind of change how you do things. Like you and I both know, I believe urban scavenging and rural scavenging is completely different. And therefore, that'll change your environment. So you might like the environment more.
But like I was saying, it's like for me, my brothers know this. I attach to different stories a little bit, different, like certain things from different stories more. Like they do not agree with me on this, not at all. But I prefer the story of Final Fantasy VIII to the story of Final Fantasy VII. There's certain things about the story that make it a stronger story to me, not necessarily a stronger game. I do think the best story was probably Final Fantasy X, but I'm not sure. There's certain things that I attach to different stories, and in that story, that beginning and the tunnel snakes thing and everything like that, that was a particular attachment to it. So if they have something along that line in the show, it'll make it go along a lot faster and smoother for me. That's the reason why I say that.
I will say this. Of the three primary MCs,
and don't say the black dude's title or anything like that or his name.
I'm not,
because that
I'm
changes.
Saying, I think you will attach. I think you will attach a little bit to each of them, just because of how they narrate each of their stories. So, like, you'll like them each for different reasons, but you'll also see how they are flawed for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, how that flaw is amplified in the wasteland as opposed to normal society. And I mean, let me go be real too. I was going to watch Fallout as a video game nerd, just like I watched the Super Mario Brothers movie because I'm a video game nerd. I planned to watch this for sure when I knew Walton Goggins was going to be in it. And when you realize what this man's CV is, he's been knocking it out the park for a while now.
I've liked him in almost everything in which I've seen him.
So he plays between the three I told you about. So we have
Justified. We have
no. I meant the three Fallout characters.
Oh.
As far as Walton Goggins, Justified, Righteous Gemstones, Fallout, Django Unchained, Ant-Man and Wasp, you know, Sons of Anarchy. He's got stuff under his belt. Good on him. But between the three characters, and I think you'll appreciate this reference, the girl, the Vault Dweller, she is the White Knight. The Ghoul is the Black Knight, and the other character is the Gray Knight. To help explain that. And for those who don't know, when we go ahead and do it, that's our way of defining the extreme morality scale. The white side being typically the pure or the more bastion side, the black side being the more chaotic neutral side, and then the Gray Knight being ends means ends kind of thing. You know what I mean? And if you agree with that, I think you'll enjoy this show because the roles are defined but never captured.
Okay.
Like I maneuver in this lane, but this does not define me.
Yeah.
So, are you anything? Like, come on, man! Like, give me something. You just look dead.
No, I'll be honest. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna see. Based off of what you said though, I'm still gonna I'm gonna be like y'all have given me a high expectation for this show right now. If you're saying it's better than X-Men 97, or not even better, if you're saying it's even on the same level
Yes.
as X-Men 97.
Yes.
Then then that's, that takes a lot for me to say, okay, this is on that level, because my God, like right now, that is.
I've not had a full sentence from you yet.
I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think in my head of this right now. They have, if I were to list a top 10 series right now, as far as series that TV series, X-Men 97 probably would be, if not in the top 5, it would be damn close to it. Like,
I can't say that after one season. I'm enjoying it for what it is, but it still is. It's crazy because remember, it's building on lore we already know and accept for granted.
but
So
it does
therefore,
it so well.
just like Fallout.
You're saying that, but it would, like I said, it would have to be really good at doing it. Like it would. Like, like that's the whole thing. Is it would have to be
help you
really.
to know that the lore keeper for Bethesda, who is the people that produce the games, worked on the show.
Bethesda, as in Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah,
Yeah, that does help.
the lore keeper for Fallout. That's his dude's job.
Like literally, he's the head
keep the
editor
lore for
basically.
Fallout.
You know what's
He worked with the script writers and the showrunners on the show.
you know what's weird is back in the day when I used to think about, and we've all had those thoughts from, I forgot what magazine used to put it out or something like that, but they would put out a list of, if they adapted this video game to a TV show, who would be the perfect actors to play it. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what that was that had that. But the thing was I would have picked Bethesda as a company
Property, yeah.
to produce a show based off of Elder Scrolls before I would have picked them to do one off of Fallout. It's very interesting to me that they decide, because I have to think with that company, they were probably here with thinking of which one were they going to go with.
I will make it easy for you, and I'm gonna give you my reason. By the time they got into the movie business, Warcraft was being made, and why should I rush when they could be my test dummy?
Ooh, and Warcraft was done beautifully, and it failed in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's one of those.
It succeeded everywhere else, but man, did it suck here. So maybe that might have been impacted their.
It is. If you go watch the movie for Warcraft, it's actually a beautifully done movie, and it tells the actual initial story of Warcraft,
but it
very well.
But what happened was, just here, nobody liked it, so it was
I didn't
kind
like
of it was kind of one of those situations. Yeah, so I get what you, that may have actually been the biggest thing on it, because like you said, Warcraft story in the story of Tamriel from off of the Elder Scrolls games are very similar in theme.
And I'll give you that. The problem is
Well,
this:
I
is that
also
you
feel
have 1, 2, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and then you had a few code names like you had Online and other stuff like that.
But you had a similar thing with Fallout, because you had Fallout and then you.
But here's the problem: Fallout is more populous as far as density to Skyrim. Like everybody played Skyrim, but how many people know the lore of Skyrim? Like, can you name 4 of the shouts right now? Rev Ross probably can name 4 of the shouts. And that's why I was about to say, are you a fan? Are you a passerby?
I think I know what my brother is going to tell me when I say this. Can you name 4 of the shouts from Fallout?
There are not shouts in Fallout. So that's
my point. Is that a fair comparison to call
not
it
at
the
fucking all.
Well,
Wait, what'd you say,
what
Rev?
I would like to say, what I would like to suggest, gentlemen, is also where the mind state for our reception of stories are. the reason why we like stories like Lord of the Rings and like Legend and those medieval tales, and like the recent Dungeons and Dragons movie that just came out, is because those stories tell simpler tales than what Warcraft is or what Elder Scrolls is. Those stories remind us, it kind of like in the mind of Americans, when you see like something that far back, the story's going to be simplistic. There's going to be a bad guy. They're going to be very easy to point out, and the good guy is going to be the character that everyone knows is going to be very traditional story like, and the good guy's going to win. Warcraft does not happen like that. Warcraft, every victory you get is Pyrrhic, and the bad guy is never the first person that you think is going to be the bad guy. Because half the time, the main character that you wind up rooting for is the one that turns into a demon halfway through the thing. Because he has the most honor. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like that with those IPs, and seeing that American audiences balked at what type of story it was, not that the story wasn't presented well.
Yeah, because
that we can take this like this dystopian view for Fallout, because it explains that it's a dystopia almost immediately, and we accept it. So if things are kind of wishy-washy with how they end, we expect it, because we expect the future to be worse than the past. Well, it's not really the way things go, but whatever.
So what's your next question?
That's just my like suggestion. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong, Rev. But this is one of those where, since you satellite, I'm in studio, I'm sitting here looking, and he's slowly coming to the dark side because we have cookies. But he's holding back the ghost. Like, he just don't want to go ahead and, like, his two brothers, who he loves, who we know that we go back and forth on opinion, he just won't go ahead and say, all right, I'm watching for show. I guess I'll watch. Like, you're doing me a favor. That's a loss if you don't do it. I'm going to watch it again. And when you go ahead and say, well, I'm about to talk about not Fallout, and I'm like, well, it's Fallout time. I'm going to call Rev. You know?
I mean, there are just certain things out there that maybe one person enjoys more than the other, or certain parts of certain things.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite Final Fantasy villain? I'm going to get him, Rev. I'm going to get him.
Oof.
Do you know mine?
Because I would have to say, see, it's hard to define it as a
base villain, like mob villain, not the character arc. So not like Sephiroth or Cypher
or Sin. That's what I was thinking.
Or Kafka or no. Who was your favorite mob?
Tom Berry.
Oh, favorite monster?
Yeah.
Tom Berry.
Which I figured, and I believe for yours, Rev, it's Marlboro.
Yeah.
There's a monster.
I love it because I hate fighting those things.
There's a monster in Fallout.
I look for them every Final Fantasy.
There's a monster in Fallout that looks like a Marlboro, but it's aquatic. And its primary attack is to eat you. And as it eats you, it fingers you.
Is that supposed to make me want to watch it? Because I don't.
It makes me appreciate the lack of nuclear war.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you are praying for the bombs.
Oh no, another setting. Because it went from Jesus, take the wheel, to Jesus, let go of the wheel. I don't want none of what you got to offer. And Rev, you know exactly what part I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
And it happens twice.
Oh my God.
That's the worst part is like y'all ain't put a sign up.
I will say this. I will say this. Collins.
Yes.
I was disappointed that they only teased. Well, so far, they have only teased. Well, no, not even teased. So far, I have not seen the most iconic monster in Fallout, and I heard that it may or may not be in the entire thing.
So I have to
They might
ask.
be waiting for the next season. Which is
I mean, I would
anyway.
think the ghoul is the most iconic monster in Fallout. Quite,
Whoa. So I was about to ask. My question is, what do you call monster? And what I mean by this is it wildlife, or is it civilized? And is
It
it
is
like I'm trying to go ahead and hit? Is it human
it is
society or
fauna.
not? Is it human?
It is fauna.
It's fauna.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It is fauna. Yeah.
So we're playing 21 questions. Nate Dogg, start singing for me. If it's fauna, that already is it bipedal?
Most times, yes.
Does it have wings in any capacity?
I think the ones in 76 do.
I'm okay. I'm trying to remember this one. Is it reptilian?
Not initially, but by Fallout 3 it is.
Is it aquatic?
No.
So I'm going to ask, is it a rad roach?
No.
Because, I mean, that's the most iconic, too. You wake up to see that, and all your nightmares have come true. A roach that can land on you in the middle of the night and eat you, that's iconic to me. And then remember when you go ahead and can search the guts and get rad roach meat? My girlfriend at the time I said, if you do that, we break it up. So I just turned the game off. I'm like, I'm about to mess up. I wasn't going to do it in real life with the character. You nasty. I didn't do nothing. You knew exactly what I'm talking about.
Insect meat, really?
Yeah. So if it's not rad roach, I'm going to guess Deathclaw.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There were a few other enemies that I didn't see as well that I'm not too upset about. Like, I didn't see a Mirelurk, technically.
No, didn't see any of them.
I didn't go ahead and see a super mutant.
That's fair.
And I'd argue the super mutants are more prevalent throughout the series as a whole than the Deathclaws.
See, super mutants to me they're not monsters, they are another race. They're like ghouls. They're like...
That's why I was making the human flora fauna argument earlier. But, so I mean, is that anything for you to worry about, that there's no Deathclaws, no super mutants?
no, that's not really something that I really think about. Like I said,
All right, guys, give me 1 quick second. I'm having an issue over here.
Okay. Well, we're about to wrap it up anyway, so
yeah.
the question for you is this: what else can we answer for you? At this point, you've laughed. We've given it high marks. Like, when's the last time something came this lauded to you, whether it be music or anything?
I have not seen anything that y'all two have been in agreement on to this level of this high of a mark for.
And I feel like you're gonna say you were wrong just to be petty.
No. If it is that level, if it is that the 8.75 that y'all are saying that it is.
No, I'm saying that. He's saying it's at least 8.5.
Okay. Then definitely I won't be disappointed, and I wouldn't sit up there and say, oh, well, it disappointed at all. So I'm definitely going to give it a look, which is more
before I sat down and talked to y'all today, I was not planning on watching the series because I didn't even know it really existed. And so
You were aware that it was existing, kind of, maybe, sort of. So
yeah, but I didn't know it was out. And so I'm definitely gonna go ahead and give it a look. And 2-3 episodes in, like it'll be decided whether or not it goes to series oblivion, whereas I won't finish it, the first season of it, or if I take and decide, hey, I gotta binge this the entire thing within 3-4 days.
I will say this also, and I wish, hopefully Rev will come back in a second, but the big one that I have is that because I am a single man, I can put on whatever. You are not a single man. Right. So violence is a teacher in the wasteland, and they use it.
I assumed as much based off.
But it's one of those, make sure you're aware, because some of it is gruesome, some of it is comedic, some of it is to go ahead and be MacGuffin-y, but I will say I would not want my godchildren watching this.
Okay, and you already know I did not. I wanted to make sure that even like based off of episode 5 of X-Men '97, I'm not having the twins watch it. Like they weren't even worried about watching it, watching X-Men '97, but I had it kind of on in the background. Not in. I didn't really mind it being on because there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. Before that point, I think that would have raised their ire. But for actual live action stuff as opposed to animated stuff, I'm a little bit more cautious. I'll put it like that for what they watch, and or what I'm watching when they're walking by. Like take for instance, I knew not to watch Twisted Metal with them around. I already knew that.
This is in the same category.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, same category. So, yes, you will.
Yes, I will watch.
And how many episodes are you giving before you? Because remember, it's only 8.
I'm gonna give it 3.
All right. I'm waiting to hear what your progress report is. Well, with that said, this is YNB Collins.
And I'm Brother Wolf.
I'm also signing off for Rev Ross. He had to go ahead and take care of some technical difficulties, but this is our media conversion and hopefully eventual review of Fallout, the TV series.
Closing time.
Thank you for listening to the Benchmark Podcast, a product of Benchmark Media, LLC. We would like to remind our listeners that the views and opinions expressed in this review are strictly the views and opinions of each individual and does not reflect the stance of Benchmark Media. Any opinion stated is not to be construed as professional advice or help. Our intro and outro music is Acid Trumpet by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons. Remember to contact us at therealbenchmarkpodcast@gmail.com or our website, www.therealbenchmarkpodcast.com. You can follow us on social media on Facebook or Instagram. And if you'd like to be a friend of the show, you can donate to us via our PayPal and buy Collins a drink.